Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace back again with another LaserDisc related video. I will be doing more video game related videos shortly. I have just been getting so many emails, PMs, and comments to videos and so forth about the proper maintenance and storage of LaserDiscs and so forth that I figured I'd go ahead and do this video now. I buy all my LaserDisc supplies from Bags Unlimited. Somebody had sent me a PM saying that they could only find 3 mail bags and they wanted 2 mail bags. Now, as I had recently finished completely replacing all of the bags on my 800 plus LaserDiscs, which had 3 mil, replaced them with all 2 mil. I could relate. Because while 3 mil offers more protection, 2 mil is clearer. Bags Unlimited, by the way, also offers Mylar sleeves. They're sturdier, but not as transparent as poly. Bags Unlimited sells 1.5 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil, and 5 mil. And they just carry tons of stuff. Tons. Now, storage. You want to store LaserDiscs vertically. You do not want them packed too tightly together, because if you do, then that can cause a pattern. It could also be caused by stacking LaserDiscs, which is a no-no, called ring wear. Now this one doesn't have ring wear, but it'll be in the shape of a ring, the size of the disc. So obviously a lot bigger than that, but there'll be a circle in the center. That's ring wear, and it's caused by stacking discs or storing them too tightly together. You don't want them so loose that they lean, because the pressure at the top will bend even at such a small degree that you can't notice it, but it does put a lot of wear on the disc and can eventually warp the disc. Over my shoulder I have some LaserDiscs in that shelf. I have some beneath it, and I have some over there, and I have some over there in an oak case that holds 300, and I got more over there and more back there. And anyway, you also want to keep them in a climate controlled environment. If you're comfortable, your LaserDiscs are going to be comfortable. If you have extremes in temperature, they're going from a low temperature to a high temperature and back down again, what's going to wind up happening, especially if you don't have them in a protective outer sleeve, is condensation will build up, moisture, on the jacket. And then it'll fuse with the jacket that's on top of it, or beside it. And then you'll wind up with 2 jackets attached to each other. And when the only thing you can do is pull them apart, at which point you'll totally damage the artwork. So climate controlled environment, do not stack, also do not lean them like this so you can thumb through them, because this also applies a lot of weight to the top. And obviously, as some of you saw in a recent video I did where I fell on a LaserDisc, warping a disc is not bad, not good. Obviously it was really bad the way I did it, and really obvious because it wound up being in the shape of a U, but there's that. Now, this disc was made by PDO UK in England. And they had a problem with manufacturing a lot of defective LaserDiscs. They made LaserDiscs for the PAL standard markets. They made a few for the American market for image entertainment. And surprisingly, they made quite a few for Hong Kong release. Hong Kong LaserDiscs are the same, use the same television standard that Japanese and American LaserDiscs do, that is NTSC, National Television Standards Committee. Anyway, this is what oxidation looks like at the beginning. It will typically, but not always, start along the edges and work its way in. Although I've had a few of PDO UK's discs with a spot in the center, and the edge is apparently okay. This plays fine, although you will notice a brief moment or two where the picture is affected. It looks kind of like analog dropout. The picture on a LaserDisc is analog, even though they frequently have digital audio. I'm not getting this back in there. But this reminds me, if I haven't mentioned it, when you come across a LaserDisc with those cheap pieces of plastic inner sleeves that Pioneer favored, collectors refer to them as elephant condoms. I replace those immediately because if they bunch up, which they have a habit of doing when you insert them into the jacket, that can scratch the surface of the disc. Okay. Not finding what I was going to next. I've shown this one before. This is the most advanced case of oxidation in my collection. It's also made by PDO UK. I have never found a LaserDisc in my collection with oxidation that was not made by PDO UK. It was their specialty. This is the Virgin Queen of St. Francis High. No mint marks. PDO UK never used them. That's one way to determine if it was made by them. Pioneer's Japanese plant didn't, but only in the very beginning. So very, 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 very early Japanese made discs don't have mint marks, but the vast majority of them do. So when I see a disc that has no mint marks, I immediately start thinking PDO UK. Now this is one that I recently submitted an update to the LaserDisc database for, Magnificent 7. When I enter in a title there, or just perusing my collection, I'll notice something that'll catch my eye, and I'll check the LaserDisc database. And in this case, I had written down in my records what the LaserDisc database had about this title, that it was made by Pioneer's Japanese plant. However, what caught my attention is that it says manufactured in USA. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was manufactured in the US, because sometimes the jackets would be printed and then the place where they manufactured the discs would change due to circumstances beyond their control. But while the mint marks at the database did indicate Pioneer's Japanese plant, my mint marks were different. Anyway, it indicates that my copy was manufactured by Pioneer's U.S. plant as opposed to their Japanese plant. Now, the jackets, they only show at the database, they only show the front jacket, or the front of the jacket, and they look identical. Exact same catalog reference number, 4553-80. However, they list a UPC barcode number on their Universal Product Code. And this jacket has no barcode. And obviously, the front didn't. So I submitted that update, and we'll see what we shall see. Now this is a disc I bought off of somebody on eBay some time ago. That's part of a lot. And as you can see, the spine is in horrendous condition. This is usually caused by people flipping the disc like that, and or the jacket, and the disc will fall and put stress on the sleeve, or the way they store it, which is generally going to be this way. Apparently this person stored it this way. Anyway, whichever side you're going to have down as you're thumbing through is going to get a lot of wear. Now I contrast that with this disc, which I bought brand new in 1982. This originally aired, by the way, 1978 on HBO, aired live. I've owned this disc since '82. No edge damage whatsoever. Now, even though LaserDiscs are capable of much higher quality than VHS, obviously, you're going to be limited by the quality of the transfer. Take, for example, Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama. Title that just rolls off your tongue. From Shadow Entertainment. The transfer on this is horrendous. The disc is fine. It's the transfer that's not. So I can only assume that if this is out on DVD, unless it's been remastered, it looks just as bad. Something I've noticed is if you compare jackets printed in the US with jackets printed in Japan, and I do have some LaserDiscs that were manufactured for American release that were printed in Japan, the jackets. But I've never run across a Japanese release that had the jacket manufactured or printed anywhere else other than Japan. This is, you're looking at it through a 2 mil poly sleeve, so I didn't want to have to mess with rearranging the obi strip, but the colors are much brighter with Japanese releases. And finally, I have to plug this film again because this is the only way to get this film uncut on LaserDisc. In fact, I think it was the only LaserDisc release that got Japanese release of Possession. This was a Video Nasty in England, one of the films that was banned there. But I think it's just a stunning film. I'm running out of time, so until next time, stay awesome.